All right. I think we're live. Maybe we're live. I don't know. You guys let me know if you can hear me. Had a little bit of a hiccup or two this morning, so hopefully we're live now. But just let me know if you're out there and you can see the stream, and we'll go ahead and get started today. All right. And if you're just now joining or if you're watching the replay, then welcome to you. Appreciate you being here so much. All right, let's see here. There's a couple things that I wanted to look at. I'm going to at least start today, the glasses, and so kind of excited about that. Hey, Carol, how are you? Thanks for joining over there on Facebook Live. So I wanted to make a couple of small corrections here in the mouth, the teeth area, just to make sure that we're following that reference a little closer. Right in there, and we'll probably hit this again later as well. That one tooth was a little bit large. So, there we go. Hey, Sergi Man, how are you? Thanks for joining us. Sergi Man is over there on YouTube Live. Okay, so we are going to... Yeah, we'll look at that later. Not exactly what we wanted, but getting a little closer there. All right, so today I want to start at least looking at the glasses and to trouble through this and kind of walk you through what's going on here when we tackle this portion of the drawing. Okay, so as you know, we didn't start this early on. We were more concerned with the skin tone, and I'm going to zoom in here just a little bit. Maybe what I'll do today is I'll work on the right-hand side over here so that you're able to at least see part of the reference, and zoomed in so you can see a little more real estate for us there. Okay, this is what I want to look at when I start looking in this area. I'm looking for intervals. I'm looking for negative space that I can use as key little anchor points. Okay, it'll become more clear, I think, when we start to do this. And I'm not going to concern myself with trying to draw in one fell swoop the entire contour lines that would make up the rim of the glasses. That would not be the best way to go. That just leads to all kinds of problems when you do that. So what I'm going to look at is, first off, things that I will be easier to understand, to be easier to figure out and trouble through. So this interval then, right here between the top of the where the eyelashes are, the top lid, and where those glasses are, and then the fold in the upper eyelid. So those are some good anchor points right there. So if I look at this, I can make a guess over here, and I'm using my Call Erase. It's an erasable pencil because this is my line drawing. Remember when we started out, you start out with a line drawing. You can do that again if there's areas that you need to trouble through. That way you don't overcommit yourself in some area that you can't remove. So I'm going to suggest a line right in there. And then over here is another little, I'm starting out with what I know. It would be silly for me to start right over here, down here, Where are my anchor points? Where are some bearing areas that can serve as measurable interval distances to me. Well, I don't have very many over here, maybe the nose, but right in here I've got the tear duct. Well, that's kind of an abstract area on the glasses to say it's right down here, but it may be less abstract than if I used this corner of the eye and I tried to grab this particular line over here. So I want to look instead at something that meets the glasses. And so right up here, that might be an easier thing to figure out. Okay, so I can look at the eyebrow. The eyebrow comes down here. Now I can kind of make a guess over here. This part of the glasses curves up. I'm not going to really draw that too much yet, but I'm looking at this interval right here between top lid and where those glasses are and how that particular shape widens. And then at some point it starts to turn. Okay, I'm getting to this though. This is what I want. All right. So I'm over here and it needs to be higher than this part. And if you need to, grab a ruler when you're working on something like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Grab a ruler and make sure that you're square with some straight line on the edge. And just look at that distance. Look at that interval between where that line may be and where the top of the glasses on the corner of this portion of the frame is. And there's not a whole lot of difference at all. It's not a lot of difference right there. Okay, so at some point over here, we're doing this. Coming down, okay. And then if I look at how long this vertical line is before it starts to taper back in towards the glasses over here, then I would say that that is nearly parallel with the pupil. Okay, so let me grab that ruler one more time. Just kind of verify what I said. So I'm going to go down here. It's nearly at the bottom edge of the pupil. So I can look at mine. I can say, now I need to make sure that my tape is on here pretty straight and that I'm not, obscuring the edge by coming in a little bit closer with my tape. Hey Linda, how are you? Linda is joining over there on YouTube Live. So it's somewhere right in there. Okay. So that's probably down a little bit further than what I would even think that it is. So I can come right in here somewhere and suggest the edge of those glasses right there. The key to this is to go slow and to make light marks that you'll be able to erase or add to. So I don't want to go outside of a boundary mark, but I want to make sure that I keep it a really conservative, keep a very conservative margin when I make marks that are outside of an area that I'm not sure about. So, hey Jules, how are you? Jules is over there on YouTube Live as well. Thanks for joining. Okay. So you come down here. I'm looking at that interval. And I want to keep looking back and forth. at both my reference and my drawing. A lot of people say that you shouldn't draw from memory, and I agree with that. If you want to do realistic representational drawings that actually depict something in reality, especially portraits. But actually, all of us draw from memory, because you cannot look at your reference at the same time that you're looking at what you're drawing. And so there's a little snapshot of reality banked in your mind, and then you move over to your project and you begin reproducing that thing that you just looked at. Okay, somewhere right in here. So this comes back down is what it does. There's a high pinnacle to the glasses right in here, and then it comes back down. So if that's the case, then this line up here is outside of that boundary area. So I'm going to take that off. Okay. Carol, that's funny. She said I sounded a bit like Bob Ross there for a moment. Did I talk about a happy accident? Oh, that's funny. Okay, let's see here. Let's go back down here. And then down here. And I can move that. If it's aligned with that pupil somewhere close, then I can move that back in. Okay, so it comes in somewhere down here, and then it comes back up. But like I said earlier, I don't want to launch out into space and pretend like I just know exactly where that is. Why? Because I've already built up a lot of layers up on top of this. So I don't want to, destroy those layers. Okay, so let's go over here, because I would have to possibly do a lot of erasing. And it could be done, but at the same time, why do that when it's not needed, when you don't need to do that? First, you go with what you know. You start with what you know, and then you gradually work into those areas that are less obvious, areas that are less known, are more difficult to see and to calculate. When you draw a square, if you're in the portrait prep drawing course, you know what I'm talking about with this. But if you're drawing a square and you're trying to measure your ability to accurately freehand, then if you draw those very, very small, you're going to be more successful than if you try to draw them very large at the beginning. Oh, hey Shiny, how are you? So Shiny's joining us over there on YouTube. Okay, now, so this top portion would be up here somewhere. Okay, and then comes down right in here. Remember, I'm going to try to err on the side of being more conservative in my mark making. Okay, now let's go over here on this side. So we started with some things that we knew there. Oh yeah, thanks, Shiny. Yeah, we're gonna. It's gonna take a while. You know, we're going to work on them. But the wrong approach would be trying to do this quickly. Okay. We've got these shadow shapes right in here. Okay, so now, well, you're not going to be able to see that. I was off the frame. Sorry about that. Okay. Let's do this. I don't want to get this too far away from you guys so you can't see it. That might be enough. I want to leave you with a little bit of room to see it, but you'll want to see the reference also. Okay. Let's see here. So the easiest areas over here, the areas that would be easier to replicate, be this interval right here, this interval over here, and then perhaps that one, and then this one. So I want to look for areas that would be easier to emulate first. And look for those lines, those intervals, as I progress. Okay. So let's see. So those are, it looks like if I'm not mistaken, now that I'm looking at this closer, it looks like, I'm going to get a little closer here. If my head gets in the frame, let me know. But it looks like the glasses might be a little bit higher on the left side. Could be wrong about that though. Okay, they come up like this somewhere over here. And then there is this triangular negative shape. I'm looking for negative shapes. So I'm trying to identify what is this shape. If I made a line right here and then I attached it up here, I'm looking for these negative shapes like that. What would that look like? That's what I'm looking for. It comes out down like this. Okay. And I'm going a little bit beyond that so that these are thinner glasses at the beginning. They'll be thin at the beginning because I need to make sure of those angles first. And then as I learn a little bit more about it and I start to see the overall, then I can start to fill in some of the details. And as we get down here, it turns back around. Okay. And over here, going up like this. And so this interval over here, and I can measure that with my pencil tip. Just get an idea. And I can say over here it's about 1.5 or 1.25. Now over here this is different scale, but still helps me as a measurable. Landmark. So it could be right in here. Somewhere like that. Okay. And come back down. Over here. Now I do realize we're not done with the hair. We're not done with the bow. There's a number of things that we're not completely done with. But I don't want to wait till the last second to work on something that is time intensive, like the glasses. And these angle back up over there. Okay. Down around, let's see. It's a little bit closer to the edge of the face, it looks like. For here. Okay. And now I can use this landmark right here, this little shadow shape in the nose, at the top of the ala, the nostril right there, and over here, and look at this interval right there. I can say this is somewhere, then right in here, it starts to turn. Okay, same way over here, it starts to turn the... Yeah. Okay. I'm laughing at Shiny talking about freehanding. Yeah, well, you know, I think it would be rather difficult to... Actually, it needs to be right about here. I think it would be rather difficult to try and, I don't know, somehow impose this by tracing. I'm not even sure how you would do that exactly. I mean, I suppose it could be done. I'm not sure how you would go about doing it. You can't see through this paper, so you wouldn't be able to trace something on a light box or anything like that. So I don't know. Okay. Look at this. I want to look at this shadow shape of the shadow under the eye and the interval between that and the frames. And this needs to actually go out just a little bit further than what it is. A slight shape over here. Now, remember, I'm using an erasable pencil also at this point. And, you know, we'll fill this in with a non-erasable, obviously. But at this point, when we're trying to determine where some of these angles are and get the line drawing in here, the roadmap, then I think it's a good approach to use something that's less permanent. Okay, I really do think that you know, some of that slope, if I can use my ruler here and look at that, I can measure like the top of the glasses and look at that parallel line in relationship to the bottom of the nose and the pupils in the eyes. Then that can start to tell me whether or not, and the bottom of the glasses as well, whether they are crooked, you know, slightly crooked on the face at the moment, or if it is, you know, my mind playing tricks on me. And that can happen when you're looking at glasses or something like that, especially with a head tilt. There's a slight tilt to the head. And so I have to remember that's also what's going on. You know, there's a tilt happening. Okay, didn't realize I was nearly off the frame here. Let me readjust my camera. That might be better. Okay, now let's do this from this side. Over here, and it comes down a little bit. And we're at the bottom over here. Okay. Here we go. same way over here. Now it's better to get something in here with the bottom area, even if it's wrong at the moment, because I can change it later after I've got it on there and I look at it and study it, rather than not put anything down there at all until some of the other areas are done. It's better to get a total outline done first. Okay. So I want to keep looking at the edge of the face, and I want to look at the eye and those intervals in between as well. It does come in just a little bit.
I'm working on a portrait of Morgan Freeman after my daughter challenged me. The values are right, but the tones of the skin are not dark enough. Any suggestions on what I can do to fix it?
So, Jules, you think that, so you're working on depicting Morgan Freeman, and you think the values are not dark enough? So remember, the values are relative. And so, I mean, you might be right. I don't know. I'd have to see it, you know. I would have to take a look at it and look at what you're talking about. Let's see here. And if you want to send me an email, you're welcome to do that, and attach it in there. Then, you know, I'll try and take a look. All right, so let's see. So that needs to go. See what I've done here. All right, so that needs to go out further away than what I've got in there. All right. Now I'm using lifting as my erasing technique because I've already got layers down, and I did spray this, so we're good in that regard. It's not going to lift up subsequent layers. But I don't want to scrub this area because I could dig into even that fixative layer. And that would not be a good approach for erasing. Okay. There we go. It needs to go over just a little bit farther than what we've had there. I realize some of that is still there. That's no big deal. You can erase that later. Okay. Maybe right in here as my inner line is what I'm looking at. And right up here. Okay. It's so funny. I figured that we've been on here maybe 5 or 10 minutes. It's certainly not the case, but it always feels like that when we're doing the live stream. But it feels like that even more so today. All right. here, and then this tapers back in. So way out there. And we're still below that. Below the ear line, top of the ear, right here. But we are into that curve. And then with relationship to the pupil, I think we're nearly towards the middle of the pupil. Now we're actually at the top of the pupil. Okay. Right in there somewhere. And then there's a line that goes up. Okay. Now if that's this is my bearing point over here. There's going to be a shadow underneath, and then the frame on top of that. Okay. That does help if I look on the monitor also. And let's see. So I need more of a curve right in here. All right. Okay. I added a new light over here on my my part of my desk over here, my table, so you can probably see the pencils a little bit better. That wasn't the reason I did it, but that was the additional benefit, I guess, that it had. Okay. Go up like this. Down in here. Okay. Yeah, this is one of those things that I probably would spend several hours in a day working on it. And hey, Harry, thanks for joining us. Let's see. So yeah, it's probably something I would spend, better part of a day working on, and then what I would do is come back to it the next day, and with a fresh set of eyes, and look at it all over again. And we may do that. I may do that tomorrow, and just pre-record it for you, and then we'll air that next time. We've just got a lot going on right now inside the Sharpened Artist Academy. We're involved in the Portrait Prep Drawing course, and then we've got a launch coming up of the Face Value course. So there's just a lot of things going on at the moment. Okay, let's see here. And there's nothing on fire. This doesn't have to be done overnight. All right. So this area will be more rounded. Okay. At the beginning, I'm going to look for angles. and not curved areas. I'm going to simplify the curves first into straight lines if possible. And then as I progress, I will smooth out those curves. As it's easier to think about curves as being straight lines in the beginning anyway. That is something our minds can deal with easier than it can curves. So, okay, let's come back over here. This will be an area that I need to pay a little more attention to. And look at that interval over there on the other side of the face. But I think that is a good start for what we want to do here. All right, I know this one's slightly shorter than normal, but we're in a more tedious area. So hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for joining, and I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream this time. And if I don't see you on office hours, if you're not part of the Sharpened Artist Academy or anything like that, then I will see you next week out here on YouTube or Facebook. And so until then, stay sharp. Bye-bye.